What's up, guys? It's your girl Shalina with Shalina Speaks, and today we're diving into a topic that's pretty heavy, but you know how, guys, I care about mental health, and if you didn't know, now you know. Well, I want to talk about mental breaking points. Like, what are they, how we recognize them, and how we move forward. What it really feels like when we have too much to handle. So, that's basically what a mental breaking point is. So, whether you're experiencing one yourself, or if you know of someone who has experienced one or has experienced, this conversation is for you. So, let's just get real for a moment. We all have limits, all right? Life throws us curveballs, and sometimes it feels like we could barely hold it together, especially in today's economy with everything going the way that it's going. Like, life has definitely been different since 2020. So, maybe it's that overwhelming pressure from work or emotional pain or a mixture of things. Like I said, it's been different since 2020. So, at some point it's all going to come crashing down, or it all comes crashing down, right? And then boom, we have something that you call a mental breaking point, and it's like you're hitting a wall. Like, you didn't even see that it was coming. And that's the scariest part about mental breakdowns, is that oftentimes we don't even know that it's coming. But here's the thing: as much as it feels like it's the end, it's often a signal, like a wake-up call, to your mind and your body. It's your mind sending your body like, hey, something is going on. And we get telltale signs with things like a mental breakdown. Like, there's physical telltale signs when you're having one. So, um, and I know it may seem tough, but it's gonna be okay. So let's go ahead and get started with some clarity. So, a mental breaking point isn't a clerical term, but it does describe a moment of emotional, psychological, and mental distress. So, where you feel like you just can't do things anymore, like, you ever just feel like, oh my God, if just one more thing happens, or this one thing happened and it broke you and you just can't get back up. Some people call that a mental breakdown. Okay. So, although it's no official diagnosis on it, it's still something that very well is happening within your body. So, emotionally, you might feel hopeless and sad and on the verge of an emotional burst, like you're about to pop. Cognitively, say you have trouble concentrating, or you have trouble doing simple tasks, or you repeatedly have negative thoughts on your mind. That's common, right? When you're experiencing a mental breakdown. Physically, like I said earlier, you can experience things physically happening to your body. So, such as exhaustion, changes in your appetite, whether you're eating more or you're simply eating less. Sleep issues, whether you're up all night or you're sleeping too much. You ever see a person so depressed, and they're really going through stuff in their lives, and they want to stay in a bed all day? That qualifies as a sleep issue. Random aches and pains, and let's not forget headaches. So we got to pay attention to these things, because it can also mean other things is going on with your body too. So that's why it's important that we all stay aware. And last but not least, what I want to touch on is behaviorally. So, like, we may withdraw from people, neglect some responsibilities, or even engage in behaviors that we don't typically do. That some people in our circle might say, you know, it's risky. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that can really affect you, like, in a mental breaking point. So we touched all points. We touched emotionally, cognitively, physically, and behaviorally. So why do mental breaking points happen? Well, let's talk about what brings people to this point. Stress is a big player on whether or not you may have one of these. And like I said earlier, it could be all the stresses that 2020 bring, because it brings the economy to be turned upside down. The housing market is, oh my gosh, which is a part of the economy. Like, it's really hard to get gas or food for most people. It could be anything, any major life changes, like moving, financial stability, stuff like that can bring you to mental breaking points, and we have to be careful. And then for some people, mental breaking points are tied to underlying mental health conditions like anxiety, depression, and trauma. Like if you've ever experienced any trauma, you might have PTSD. So, like for instance, here's a statistic that might surprise you. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 8 people worldwide live with a mental health condition. That's a lot of us. That's worldwide. That's not in the nation. That's not in a specific country or region. That is in the world. So that's a lot of us. And then the pandemic made it worse. So ever since then, a report has showed a 25% increase in anxiety and depression cases globally since 2020. It's the whole pandemic. So, those stats are the ones that I pay attention to, and I read in my articles and I'm doing my research on what I may be going through or my friends may be going through when it comes to mental health. Because I'm not a mental health professional, so let's not get it twisted. I'm not a licensed therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm just someone that simply advocates for mental health and taking care of it and making sure you guys are educated on it. All right, so let's talk about solutions. If you are having a mental breaking point, or you feel like you're getting close based off of what we discussed earlier. So, first and foremost, it's normal to be able to say, hey, I'm not okay. Recognizing it is the first step to getting help. Reach out, talk to a therapist, get yourself a counselor. And if you can't do that, try a trusted family member or a friend. Do something like that. Like a professional support can make a world of difference. So having a professional support network can make a world of difference. So you want to make sure that you have that professional support network and then you have your personal support network. I know it's easier said than done, like when you're depressed and stuff like that, because I went through it too, but go for a walk, journal your thoughts, do deep breathing exercises, set boundaries. A lot of us have problems when it comes to setting boundaries. We need to learn to say no. Like if we learn to say no more, we can say yes to ourselves more, and that will eliminate us from overcommitting, which only adds fuel to the fire when it comes to you reaching your mental breaking point. You know what I'm saying? So, and there's tons of places. Like if you feel like you're having an emergency, I just want to make sure I mention this. You can always dial 988 for the suicide and crisis lifeline. So let's not forget there is resources out there. So that's one of them. And at the end of this, you will definitely be able to see some more resources if you need it. So if I had to say, what would my final thought be on this is mental breaking points don't make you weak. They make you human. Like we all have limits. Asking for help shows strength. It does not show failure. So let's keep the conversation going. Share this episode with someone that might need to hear it, and remember, if you're struggling, you're not alone. There's help and there's hope and there's healing waiting for you. So thanks for listening to this particular video, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if this resonated with you, go ahead and watch another video. And if you really, really mess with it, go ahead and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace.